Alright, we're going to sit down and get this paper started. There comes a time in every essay where what? I really should have outlined this better. Okay. There comes a time in every book, where the author has a decision to make. How will the story end? In, what book am I doing again? Let's see here. Oh, crap.
Writing is an art form, not only in the sense of the craft, but in the environment that it is performed. In the era of technological advancement, we tend to write or type on computers more than anything, and as with anything, that comes with its own issues. Digital literacy goes beyond understanding how to use technology or how to use software like word processors. We live in a black box world, a term that comes from the article Bibliocircuitry and the Design of the Alien Every Day. Things new and fancy eventually become a part of our lives without us realizing, technology blending into the background. Some advancements, however, don't fade like others do. The digital world is rife with new and old creations, each a verifiable time trap. In other words, a key component of digital literacy is understanding how to curtail these distractions. Distractions are something we all have to deal with, whether it be your cat knocking a filled coffee mug on your handwritten essay, or having a TV on in the background, or getting sucked down an internet rabbit hole. The trouble is, the internet is designed to pull your attention from one place to another, aiming to sell products and disperse content. It's really amazing how we have access to so much information, so much content at our disposal and at the ready at all times, and it's amazing how easy it is to get lost in that content. For all the advantages that digital technologies offer, like spell check, grammar help, instantly accessible resources, recognizing the divide between help and hindrance can be harder than you think. A study titled Longitudinal Study on Impact of iPad Use on Teaching and Learning found that while the students technically had an increase in learning and knowledge accumulation, they also had a more difficult time paying attention after the introduction of iPads. I know that when my high school introduced iPads, we had access to a lot more material and we were able to do a lot more, but we also played Slither.io and other games instead of listening to lecture. Before I had my computer and my phone, when I sat down to do a paper-based assignment, I basically had two options. Do it, or do nothing. Well, daydreaming is always an option, but not always a very good one. An EdSurge article titled by Anna Hilmanyoun suggests that a degree of what she calls intrinsic motivation is necessary to avoid getting derailed. It's a type of motivation that, despite the name, is learned and developed over time. Basically, it's learning how to not let your motivation latch on to other, perhaps more glamorous pursuits. It's less controlling where your focus goes, and more making sure it at least stays mostly on track. Don't get me wrong, I love my computer as much as the next person, and I hate not having my phone on me. There's so much that I use both for that just about everyone uses their device for, but that's part of the problem. You could almost think of it like the short movie, More. Goggles of happiness and bliss provide an escape from the daily grind, provide an escape from work, but when your escape is tied irreparably to your work, it gets hard to do what you have to do. It's something that I have problems with, something I know others have problems with as well. I also know people worse off, preferring pen and paper to computers for this exact reason. When I work, I have to have something going on in the tab next to mine, because otherwise I'd go nuts. As long as I have something to glance over to, I'm less likely to grind to a complete halt and get lost in other things. But this is a skill I learned. It's not a skill I was born with, rather being a skill wholly tied to my digital literacies. I guarantee that while composing this essay, while trying to find footage to use or film footage myself, I'll get sidetracked hands down. I know it, just as much as I know that having something else happening while working will motivate me to get it done. My process requires me to have background noise playing or necessitates a video playing so I can ignore it and do what I have to do. What my process doesn't require is for me to type Tumblr into the search bar and scroll through my dashboard for 3 hours. Like I said, digital literacy is not only knowing how to use the technology you have, sometimes it's knowing when not to use it too.